So I want to touch on a few things. I kind of made some notes. Talk about a couple things that people aren't touching on right now. So I'm gonna move forward here. Um, First of all, let's talk about the big, big shit in the room. Um, and I say it that way. So yesterday, the the United States male men's hockey team won the gold medal, beating Canada 2-1 in overtime. It was a great game. Um, I've done a video on it. It was really good. I mean, it was good feels. I mean, they even brought up the jersey of the gentleman who died, who was on their team by a drunk driver, and his family was there. It was a great moment. You had, people celebrating the 46 years since they won a gold medal in the Olympics. People, the Jack Hughes, who made the winning goal after getting his teeth knocked out. Um, it was all just really great. And we all basking in it, and we haven't had a lot to cheer about here in America. A lot of, patriotism that isn't tied to having to kiss Trump's ass or MAGA's ass. And then Cash Patel showed up. Now, Cash Patel, if y'all don't know, and you probably do, but I'll have to put it in context, is the FBI director. He's a swarming little dude who's been hanging around Trump for a while. In 2020, he was almost made the CIA director until most of the agents said they will fucking quit first. He is a sycophant. He's an opportunist. And then when Trump 2 came along and he got rid of Christopher Wray because Christopher Wray dared, investigate him for the classified documents and investigate him for January 6th, Wray was fired and Patel was put in his place. Why Congress put this unqualified little swarmy dude in this important position, I don't know. He has no law enforcement experience. He really doesn't know how to run a big agency. He is just a fucking ass kisser, sycophant. That's all. Like all the cabinet is. There's not a competent person in the Trump cabinet. They're all sycophants. They all just do what Trump wants them to do. I mean, look down the line. Bassett, Lutkin, who out of it, should be out of that fucking position because he's all over the Epstein files and on the island. I mean, um, Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Defense, what a drunk. The Education Secretary, the Secretary of Agriculture. You can go on and on and on, and just a bunch of incompetent sycophants. And you have Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, but he's not doing negotiations for Trump. Trump has his son-in-law Jared Kushner, who's looking to make money, and Steve Witkoff as his primary negotiator for everything. He was a real estate agent for Florida. That's what we have: total incompetence, and they're all grifters. They're all making money off it. Letkin, we're going to talk about terrorists, but he bet that the terrorists would be struck down, and his son's company, which he's still part of, is going to make millions off this. But I digress. Cash Patel. Now, the FBI does have some say in security, especially when it comes to the Olympics. They are American citizens. But normally, an FBI director, if he's going to meet with foreign security forces, especially like in Italy, they do it before the Olympics and make sure they got their I's dotted and the T's crossed. Most of the time, the director doesn't do it. It's the special agent in charge. But Cash Patel went out there on the last day of the Olympics for a meeting about security on the last day of the Olympics. Okay. That trip cost us $450,000 fucking dollars. Let me repeat that. $450,000. So he went there and I talked about what happened with the game. We saw all that with the game. It was all cool. And then Cash Patel showed up in the locker room. How he got in the locker room, I don't know. But he could have went in there and congratulated everyone. But no, he came in like a frat boy. He came in screaming and hollering like he had just spent um, a shift on the ice. He went in there, you know, blah 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 blah. Look at me, yeah. And he got a shirt and he started to drink. It was a fucking frat party for him, and they gave him a medal. It was. I'm watching him going, J. Edgar Hoover, for all his faults, and there are a lot, is rolling over in his grave. Okay, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which was created under Hoover, is was the preeminent law enforcement agency in the world. It was respected and it was feared. Now it's a fucking joke because it does Trump's bidding, period. They don't investigate crime. They investigate Trump's fantasies, people he wants to get rid of, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you can see that. Um, and so yeah, and so we're going to touch about that. And I know where they got their weapons from. And we're going to talk about some of the things about the Jalisco cartel. But he's the director of the FBI. There is a decorum to it. Your job is in D.C. Your job is to oversee the law enforcement of this country. Fuck, you got an active kidnapping of a celebrity's mom, active, and you're nowhere to be found. You're in Italy, fucking drinking like it's Saturday night at a fraternity rub. Jesus, I mean that's just so unserious. The FBI is not unserious. There are agents right now just contemplating whether they should just give up their badges. All the experience they have, what you need to be qualified to be an FBI agent, the work in Quantico, you get through Quantico, and then this fool is your boss. God damn. Just that's what I would say. God damn. Or the FBI agents who had to pick up his drunk girlfriend in Las Vegas. The FBI agents who have flown with him to places like concerts. The FBI agents that when he showed up in Utah after the Charlie Kirk assassination, he wouldn't leave till someone got him an FBI jacket. He's a loser. He's a wannabe loser. He's a loser. A cosplayer like Christy Nome, but even worse. So to make it even worse, so that killed the vibe. I saw that and go, Jesus God Almighty, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay, and then it gets better because then this fucker calls Trump on FaceTime, and they're all cheering and blah 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 blah. And then Trump says, "Yeah, I want you to come here for the State of the Union address, and we'll do the White House visit on Wednesday." Now, right now, Grinder Mike Johnson is running around looking a way to get these guys to Washington before the State of the Union. Kind of noticed that there was a storm that came through. Good luck with that. Trump said, "Well, you can get on, you know, Cash's plane, or we'll get the military to help you. More of our money spent for that shit." Okay. And then Trump says, "Oh yeah, I guess we need to invite the girls too." Haha. And I'm like going, really? Really? The women have won 3 gold medals since women's hockey became a sport in '98. They worked hard. I watched their game. They beat Canada in overtime also. No offense, Canadians. And then you make a joke. And so the invitation was sent out to the women's team. They said, okay, they didn't say that. They said they had other things to do, like wash their hair, file their nails, take a lint off their uniforms, and go to the White House or the State of the Union because he's signing into the State of the Union tomorrow because Trump is going to have a State of the Union and it's going to be nothing but lies. He's already going to say that the economy is great. It's golden. The tariffs worked. Um, the tariffs work. Everything is great. They're just lying to you. The jobs. No, the reason they don't have as many jobs as Biden because Biden had illegal immigrants as jobs and they counted them. I mean, it's just going to be a plethora of lies, and the hockey team's going to be there, and probably he's going to push the Supreme Court out of their normal seats. Yeah, so Trump is anything because he's not petty, especially after the tariffs decision. So that's going to be just took the joy of normally being an American rooting for his team. And I was around in 1980. I saw the original as a kid. We were happy. I didn't know what the fuck hockey was, but I knew we beat the Soviet Union. That's all that mattered to us. That was then. This is now. And so that was, as one person, that's not a miracle. It's just they did their job. And the women are more efficient. So here we are. So the State of the Union address is going to be, Trump says already a long speech, and he's kind of geared up what they're going to do. A lot of people said that it might not do it. Nah, he'll do it. The question is how many Democrats are going to show up. I'm hoping the majority don't show for this shit show. John Fetterman will be there because he already said that for Democrats not to show up for the State of the Union, it's going to be disrespect to the office of the presidency. Really, dude? Really? After what Trump has done to the presidency, that includes January 6th, you have the gall to say that? Dear Lord. And talk about respect. Are you going to wear a fucking suit to the State of the Union address? I thought that was kind of cute. I thought that was something, we can latch onto as rebellion. Turned out to be just a fucking scam. John Fetterman. Dear God. But he's gearing up to do themes of that the economy's fine. They're all lying to you. Tariffs did great. And I want to make sure we get more tariffs. Figure out a way, even though the Supreme Court stabbed me in the back, I am the one that makes these decisions. That's what he's saying. I'm the one that makes these decisions. And they keep talking about tariffs as not a tax. It's a fucking tax. And the Constitution is clear. You cannot tax. The presidency cannot. The executive branch cannot. It is to the Congress. And if you want tariffs, function a bill. But not even Mike Johnson wants to do that because he knows he'll not even get out of the House. Okay? So that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to watch it. I really don't want to watch it. I really don't want to watch it. God, I don't want to watch it. I may have to watch some of it. I don't know. It's going to be painful. Because what's even worse, today, Trump brought in the families of crime victims who lost loved ones to undocumented criminals, especially Laken Riley. If you don't know, Laken Riley was a nurse here in Georgia who was unalived who was murdered by undocumented Venezuelan who is now in prison here in Georgia. And they blamed Joe Biden for it. Joe Biden had tightened the border. These people would still be alive. And they used and I read the article to the New York Times, and those people are hurting. They're still hurting. And they believe Trump is their friend. And they're going to blame everyone else who's undocumented or of color for their pain. And Trump gives them their outlet for their hate. Don't confuse their grief. Their grief is long past. They have stepped over into hate and disgust. And they're going to get even with everybody from this point on. Okay? He's gonna, yeah, it was horrendous. I heard the speeches, right? And then I saw that, and then Trump declared, you know, today, February 22nd, is Fallen Angels Day or something, honoring those people who were murdered by undocumented um, immigrants, and that's what they still use to justify what's going on with ICE. Very few violent criminals are being picked up. If you're telling me that the taco people working a taco stand, or people going to work, or people at the Home Depot, or dragging people off a roof, or breaking into people's homes who have a right to be here and dragging them out, I mean, arresting American citizens, abusing American citizens, murdering American citizens is what these people want their loved ones to represent, then you are not at the grief point. No, you just let your hate eat you. And I don't want to say that about people who have lost their family members tragically, but it gets to a point where it's not right. And they can't move on. And they want everyone to feel the same pain they did. And I wish you well, but I wish what you just unleashed on this country, but you don't care because everyone's going to hurt like you hurt. And they're going to be in the audience for this State of the Union because that's what Trump's going to justify ICE. That's what Trump is going to say. We're not going to give in to Democratic um, lawmakers' demands that before they fund DHS, ICE has to be reformed. Yes, I know far lefters. I know that you guys want it abolished. That ain't going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. There would be too much bullshit to happen. Would I love it abolished? Fuck yeah. But it's not going to happen now because I saw a roundtable with CNN and that Scott Jennings, that fucking sycophantic Trump humper, and Jason Pearson, who is that representative from Tennessee, who remember was expelled and then had to be reelected, was talking about ICE. He's just talking about, look, we just want, at this point, he didn't even say abolish. They need to have, you know, they need to have their training. Take a look. If you get a chance, see the testimony for that ICE lawyer, former ICE lawyer, whistleblower. There is no training anymore. They're just sending them out there. And they're unqualified people with weapons and no training on how to de-escalate or to properly arrest people. And they've been given the green light with judicial warrants, which is Democrats want to take away from them. They want oversight on the fucking concentration camps. Okay. And when Democrats say that, Republicans spin it like, oh, so you don't want no regulation or enforcement of immigration laws. You want illegal immigrants to run around like they've done before. That's what you Democrats represent. No, no, that's not what we represent. We just know that what we've seen is a violation of the Constitution and a goon squad out there abusing everyone, citizens, even people just protesting them or filming their actions. So that's what it's going to be. He's going to use those people's grief and hate to justify keeping ICE as it is. So they're not going to fund ICE. If the Democrats roll over and fund DHS, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. And the thing about ICE, it is basically given a lot of police departments almost